that was a catharsis for me. And that was finding out like what Rainbow Gathering was in general and finding out about that at that time. And for whatever goddamn reason, I never actually made it to Rainbow Gathering. And then it was finding out a decade and a half later what Burning Man was. And I felt like I was so fucking close to even just hearing about it, just getting the initiation in like 1997 and completely missed it. And I've always said, like, whenever I see online when they're talking about 1999, I'm like, I wasn't doing shit.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely would have gone at one of those assholes that I hung out with at that Rainbow Gathering adjacent event in 96. I would have totally gone.
I'm going to do one last thing that I think we should continue to do, even though we've forgotten to do.
Which is?
Do you have any advice for people who are coming for their first time?
Don't read Reddit.
Yeah.
So, learn. If you're a 17-year-old stoner, ask your dad. If you're an adult, take a look at your own experiences because you probably have some, you know, and it was like our own experiences as New Englanders and as people who had camped and people who had, you know, done all kinds of physical labor. Our own experiences were way more useful than whatever bullshit we found online. You can find our own personal experience. We'll go there through jujitsu. Is that because that's our shit? Mm-hmm. Is one of those things like you were told a bunch of shit as a new person when you first come to the martial art. You're told a whole bunch of stuff of what you can do and what you can't do. And it's really fucking important and good advice as a new person. And as you start to have your own experiences and as you start to have your own knowledge, it changes. And something that you shouldn't do as a new person is not applicable as you start to get some skills as an adult. So as you come in as an adult with your own fucking experience and your own information, you should apply that to this camping trip.
Some real radical self-reliance.
That's the thing. It's like, instead, you're like, I've never done this before, so I'm a virgin. That's the word they use. You know, I'm a virgin. I'm a virgin. I'm this person that knows fucking nothing. Whatever my outside input is useless. And that's completely wrong. You know a bunch of shit. You live your fucking life. You handle yourself as an adult. All of your outside information is applicable. There are a few things that are different. And they will tell a new person like, oh, never do XYZ. Always do XYZ. And it's like, that might be useful if you're coming in as a 17-year-old. Don't put your fist in a handful of pills and then put those in your mouth. That is good advice anyway.
In general.
In
not even
general.
about Burning Man.
In
don't
general.
take drugs you don't understand.
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely. Don't take a shitload of drugs that you have no knowledge about, that you've never done before, just because you're at a really cool party.
Welcome to Accuracy Third. I'm D-Day.
I'm Rex.
And I'm Beth.
And today on Accuracy Third, we have the one, the only, the great, the thank you very much for your music, Late Bus, on the podcast. But unbeknownst to everyone, we also have hand stuff.
Surprise hand stuff.
I mean, I knew they were coming on.
Yes, but the listeners didn't. The listeners don't know that Hand Stuff also makes music, which is in this episode, because I haven't told them that yet. But for the first time ever, in the intro of the Accuracy Third podcast, the music in this episode is by Hand Stuff.
Wow.
Thanks.
Pew, 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 pew.
Is this exciting to you listeners? Let us know in the comments. So we've known of Late Bus for a while.
Yeah.
Late Bus has been in our online orbit for several years now.
And we've met Late Bus on Playa, right? At listener appreciation parties in the past.
Certainly, but since time is an accordioning circle, who knows how many years those memories come from. But the point is,
And only one of us is likely to have formed really strong memories at most of our listener appreciation parties.
yeah, and it's not the person who is talking over everyone right now. Late Bus and Hand Stuff came to visit and stayed for a little time and recorded in the studio with us, and it was great.
This is true. These are all true facts stated.
And did we get a little too drunk? Some of us may have.
I would like to point out that when we have people in, especially people who are already like our friends, I personally do a very bad job of not having it be a lovely drunken hangout instead of a podcast recording.
And it is a lovely drunken hangout.
Yay.
But that's before we started the podcast recording. Wherein we then podcasted for damn near 3 hours.
It is a good thing that one of us is not a big drinker.
You keep bringing this up.
Yeah. While you and I are killing it, Beth, pound that rock.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Look, if the listeners weren't okay with listening to me babble on drunk, they'd be out already.
Well, the good thing about the way that we're babbling on drunk for this already 2-hour-long episode, before I've even put the intro and outro in, is that we had not spoken with them about their Burning Man or festival experience while getting drunk with them for 2.5 or 3.5 hours before we started recording. And then we started recording, and the floodgates opened, like me trying to get 24 in during the Odyssey at Burning Man.
Oh, God.
So this episode is jam-packed full of us talking about Burning Man and non-Burning Man festival and festival-like events. And it is just a fucking rollicking time. And if you would like to record with us and tell us your Burning Man stories, why, we might have a rollicking time with you as well.
That drunk is not required for anyone.
Or expected,
Right.
or promised.
No.
But it's definitely promised. If you want to come here and get quite drunk, we will absolutely facilitate that.
If that is the way that you would like to tell your Burning Man story, we will make that happen. And at least 2 of us will do it with you.
Well, potentially
I'll
at
have a
least
drink
2
or
of
two.
us will do it with you. And one of us is great at talking to the cops. This is Late Bus and his little brother Hand Stuff. Oh, man, there's so much cute brother stuff in this episode.
You know that why Late Bus reached out to us is because we said something about wanting to interview siblings that go together. And they had just gone for their first time together. And yeah, cute brother stuff.
Cute brother stuff. Enjoy.
We're recording.
Fucking finally.
You know what, Beth? If this is so fucking finally, come to more recordings.
No.
You like recording.
We
with
really
your friends
stretched
so
that
much.
the fuck out.
Yeah, like we hung out for like a day and I couldn't ask these folks about the thing that we most have in common.
You
And
could have.
We've been
We had
building
the studio
anticipation.
on and ready last night, and you were like, "We'll record tomorrow." That's what you sound like. I'm Beth.
Shut up.
Please, Beth, continue taking the lead with the interview.
And come on, we've found a lot of commonalities. We've talked about art and music and art
And UFC.
and UFC.
Music also.
Yeah, games.
We played
music.
some videos games.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Fuck yeah.
Had some fightings.
Yeah, we watched The Fire.
Beth, you won 2 entire rounds of Tekken.
I did, because I mash buttons well. So,
Furiously.
And you were a bear.
how did you end up at Burning Man? Or should I not use your name? Late Bus.
This is the legend of legends, Late Bus from New Hampshire, who schooled me on what the liquor laws are there now.
True that. True that.
Late Bus, thank you, first of all, for contributing your incredible music to the podcast. And second of all, how the fuck did you end up at Burning Man?
Had something to do with an asshole friend of mine named Naked J.
All right.
Oh,
good start.
is that Nakey J of the Discord?
That is Naked J of the Discord fame.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yep. He's technically my brother-in-law, Our wives are sisters, and he knew about Burning Man the entire fucking time I knew him and didn't bring it up until 2016 after the burn when it was too fucking late to matter. And he brought it up and was like, oh, yeah, that Burning Man thing is so cool. One day we got to go. I'm like,
Sounds like you might be finally cool enough to go there.
and that was the thing. It was like when he brought it up, then, we started doing, I was already on Reddit for a long ass time. So we started looking it up and it was like, what the fuck's your problem, man? You knew about this? I had no idea.
You researched Burning Man through the Burning Man subreddit?
Most definitely.
Wow.
Wow, and you still decided to come.
Yeah,
That's
crazy, right?
Strange.
Yeah. I might be a masochist. I don't know.
If you're looking things up on Reddit, you're a Reddit person, and you
Yeah.
already know what Reddit is.
Yeah,
like.
you've told
yeah.
us that you were on Reddit for a long time, so
Yeah.
the community couldn't have caught you completely by surprise.
No, and he started mentioning it, and we started checking out YouTube videos and finding out, because I didn't know what it was, and he also didn't know what it was.
But he wanted to go.
Yeah, he had heard
Knew
about
of
it. And he knew a little bit, and then we started finding out how little we really knew. And then the next year, we're like, well, dude, we're going. And then we completely fucking failed to get tickets. And then another full year went by, and that's when we started listening to your podcast. And really, I decided before 2018, when the FOMO tickets, whatever they were called at the time, came up, and I was like, I'm going to be a real dick, and I'm just going to buy a ticket. So I dropped the cash, bought the fucking ticket, and I was like, I just sent to our group text, like, I'm going. Next move.
The FOMO tickets, those are like the real expensive tickets for techies.
Yeah. I did a really stupid thing because we failed to get tickets, so we didn't end up going. And so we talk about it for another year, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. We're not doing this again. Like, I'm just making a move. I bought the ticket. I sent them a picture of my email confirmation.
As long as you're coming from the East Coast, like, what's another hurdle?
Yeah, that's the thing. It was like, it's so difficult to get out there. Jobs, wife, kids, responsibilities. It was like, I can't hope I can get a ticket and go. I have to go. So I have to know that I can go and plan and take time off and everything. So that was my move. And that's how we first ended up there, was because I was like, I'm going. Now what are you guys doing? And then we went to the main sale, and we got 2 tickets in the main sale, and it we ended up all going together, the 3 of us.
Who is we? Who is the 3 of us?
My brother, Hand Stuff.
Hello.
Oh,
Hand
Brian's name is
stuff.
Hand Stuff?
And stuff.
That goes in the notes.
That's lovely listeners. We are sitting here with siblings who burn together, which is a particular interest of mine because it seems weird. But you guys seem weird.
Because you have siblings you like.
Fair
I
enough.
do. I'm trying to talk my brother into going. He's a
Hand
little bit
stuff,
like
is
when
that-
his kid is
Is that one word or 2
your
words?
kid's age.
I'm calling it. I say it's one word.
Fabulous.
And stuff.
Yep.
Hand Stuff.
Better that way.
So you all went for your first year together.
You should really spell that with an S set.
Yes.
That-
Three,
You
that
can
big
show me
German
what the
B.
symbol is. F.
3 virgins.
Yeah.
And did you start volunteering with our most border control department immediately, or did that come later?
No, my good brother Hand Stuff knew somebody that knew about Burning Man, and he had volunteered for Arctica. And so we're like, well, shit, that sounds like a good idea. Like, I don't know if I want to join a theme camp. I don't know if I want to, be one of the sparkly people out there offering stuff, but I can move some ice around. So that's what we did our first year. We volunteered a couple of shifts.
So you started as volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me. Shout out to Mothra. Mothra was the Arctica
Fuck yeah.
dude that I worked with, and he's like, no, I'm telling you. These are the people. Go there. You're going to have fun. Just do it. So I just
We did.
listened. I told them, and they were like, okay, let's do it.
Did you guys camp out in walking camping?
Open camping, yeah. Yeah, over by probably like 415 and K.
That's a
way out.
long way from Arctica.
It sounds like really far, right?
Well, we volunteered out on the, what is it, like the,
The 3 o'clock?
yeah. So it wasn't too bad.
Ice cubed?
Yep. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. And, we volunteered a couple of shifts. We worked together, and we kind of worked as a team. And we just went out there to work. And so when we were working, we were just busting our ass, moving, as fast as we could. And we were like, what the fuck are you guys
Yeah,
doing?
why are you doing that?
Yeah, what are you doing? Why are you moving so fast into your vacation? It's because we're New Englanders and we don't know how to work halfway. The boss is looking that we're on the clock. It's time to move your ass.
So there's the thing I say that, like, I understand that it's not a competition, but in case it is,
Yeah, he's going to win. Just in case.
What if God's watching? The first time I came out to the Bay Area, I was visiting a friend who had moved to San Francisco a couple months prior. And up until the moment I stepped foot in the city, I had just assumed that all cities were like the East Coast megalopolis cities, walking forward, like looking straight ahead or looking down, walking around people that are going slow. And like on the sidewalks here, I was just like, it was like I was playing a video game. And everybody is moving like 1/10 speed of me, and I'm zigzagging around them. And I was like, this is a fucking city I can win.
So you guys came all the way out from the East Coast, from New Hampshire-ish.
Yeah. We had all that time to game and scheme and, drinking beers in the backyard, thinking about how we were going to do it, what we were going to do for our shade structure, the whole thing, what we came up with is we flew into Sacramento. We rented a van. We geared up in Sacramento, and then we drove out, and we stopped at the whatever Reno Walmart that everybody stops at, and we rode them with everybody. And fucking amazing, we were in camp at 1:30. So we got in for the gates opening, and we were in amazingly quick.
Like 1:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
like, seemingly we just weren't there too early.
Like 1:30 in the morning after the gates open at midnight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is ridiculous.
Good
and
timing.
So just cruise through.
Yeah, and we did everything they tell you not to do. We set up our monkey hut in the dark.
Yep.
And it was great. And we were done when the sun came up. We went for our first bike ride, and fucking the wind starts blowing. And immediately I'm like, I wonder if we did that right.
About to find out.
Oh, well, too late now.
And so we head back to camp, and yeah, we're like, you know what? How about we it wasn't a whiteout yet, but it was a pretty good storm. And so we're like, oh, we'll take a nap. And then we find out that we had set up our monkey hut facing the direct wind in the outside of the city where there was no windbreak.
Oh, God.
And the wind was smashing the tent into our faces as we slept. And so we got up, we moved the van to block it, and then we put a tarp over the end of the monkey hut and actually
Got a real nice whistle off it.
But it was perfect. It fixed it, and we were like, okay, there were plenty of things that went wrong, but everything was great. And we went out for our first real bike ride after that, and got caught in a whiteout. And I have a video where I just stood, and we're not in open playa, and you turn around with the phone in my hand, and there's the three of us and the Portos, and there's nothing else that you can see because it's a complete whiteout. And we were like, holy fuck, we actually pulled this off. We fucking pulled it off. And
Look at how much work we put into being in this uncomfortable circumstance.
But, the weather in New Hampshire is fucking nuts. So for us to be in a place that we worked really hard to get to, and it's, it was really tough to be in, and it took a lot to get there, and it took a lot to set up the camp in the middle of the night. And we were like, fuck yeah. We actually completely pulled this off. For three guys that had no fucking idea what they were doing. It worked out perfect.
That answers my next question. So there's this point at Burning Man where you actually arrive. So you get there, and then eventually you arrive. And it sounds like you did those in quick succession.
For sure.
My first year, I didn't arrive until Thursday. It just took that long for me to figure out what the fuck was up and how to be there. But it sounds like you guys did it in such a chaotic manner that you arrived in your first dust storm after not sleeping.
And then the funny thing is, we, again, over planning every aspect of it. We get there and, we find completely wrong where we put our tent right between two RVs and we're thinking, oh, they're going to block, but
you didn't know which way the wind comes?
right between those two RVs and directly into our tent.
What you're going to want to do is set your tent up in a wind tunnel.
Yeah. Apparently, that's what we wanted to do because that is exactly what we fucking did. And then we left all this area in front and behind because we're like, oh, we'll have like this cool little courtyard. And then we woke up from our first sleep and there were a group of like 8 Canadians who were in like 10 feet from our...
Oh, they'll just take your yard.
Yeah.
They were in our yard.
I mean, you guys are from New Hampshire. You know how they'll just like fucking crowd your head.
We just went to bed with a yard and
Not in my backyard, but these Canadians were literally in our backyard.
we were like, great, went to bed, had a yard, woke up.
Canadians.
Had Canadians.
And Canadians will apologize.
Oh,
Will
sorry.
they?
Oh, sorry. I'm here now. Oh,
Well,
sorry.
they
Not
were
sincerely.
They were amazing, and pretty
Of course,
and
because they're Canadians.
we pretty much became one camp.
Aw.
Yeah, they were incredible.
That is adorable.
Yeah, y'all still in touch with the Canadians?
Very loosely.
Nice.
Yeah, very loosely. Yeah, they the leader of their camp, Big Sean, we are in touch with him and he did not go last year, unfortunately. But every time we're looking at going, we always reach out to him and we haven't been able to make it back together, but hopefully one of these years he goes back. We'll fucking be there.
That'd be great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, get them on
What's
gate.
I'll fucking try.
So how did you wash up into Gate after the whole Arctica thing?
Yeah, what was so great about Burning Man that made you want to keep people out of it?
I think it's your fault.
Oh, you're both in Gate.
No.
No, our fault.
Oh, my fault.
Oh.
well,
we were like, go
the
find the thing that
collective-
you want, and you were like, Border Patrol's cool.
the collective you.
In
I think
season
it's your
5,
fault.
you guys interviewed half of Gate. And so during the pandemic,
did?
that's what we fucking listened to. And we got to listen to all the people talk about how awesome Gate was and how everyone dresses in black. And that's where the goths go. And I was like, well, fuck, that's my people.
I'm gonna just blame Permit for this.
Yeah, that was definitely Permit's episode was
Yeah. Yep.
one of them.
He made Gate sound way more fun than it should sound.
To be fair, like even outside of this podcast, we've got a bunch of homies in Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are unarguably Gate adjacent.
Gate is full of sweeties, and I don't understand why.
I mean, they're the D&D heavy metal kids who were all fucking each other.
Yeah,
That'll put a smile on anyone's face.
they're the messy, non-monogamous crew of goths that were your friends in high school.
There are tough jobs to be done in the city. Like somebody's got to deal with all of the waste, and somebody's got to deal with people who don't want to pay for their ticket and still want to come. And salute to all the people that do the jobs I don't want to do.
Next time we're at the Black Hole up on their low balcony above the bar, I'm just going to wait until the Black Hole's real crowded, and I'm going to shout at the top of my lungs, "Dice check!" And you just see how many 20-sided dice come out of pockets down there.
So what about what you heard was appealing about it?
So a couple things, like for one, like we mentioned, we like to work. So it's one of those things that working for me.
I will say the Gate does a heavy lift. Like most Gate people who are volunteering for Gate are working hard every shift.
And that sounded great to me. Like to work really hard on vacation sounds fucking great. So if that's not what you're into, I totally get it. But for me, we was talking about not free ticket, but guaranteed ticket. Doesn't even have to be discounted. Just the fact that
You could get one.
yeah, you don't have to. I don't have to buy a FOMO ticket. Like it made sense the first year was because I wanted to figure out how to make sure that I got a ticket so my friends would go, and then I didn't want to do that again because it's expensive.
It's
as
real
fuck.
expensive.
Yeah, but to have a guaranteed ticket, that was enough reason. But then it was like a way to give back, to participate, and to not just take from the event, but to give back. And that's something that I could do really easily. And for me to stand out dressed all in black for 6 hours under the full sun was cool. It didn't bother me. Didn't bother me at all.
You're a desert rat at heart.
And that's the thing. It was like and we camped with Gate last year too. And the coolest thing was where we were camped previously. Obviously, for most people, this is not a bad thing, but really friendly people coming up to you the whole time. The cool thing about Gate is
There aren't any friendly people coming
were
up to you.
super friendly, but also if you look like a person who maybe doesn't want to have an hour-long chat, they say hi, be cordial, move the fuck on. It was very cool. It was, and hanging out in the black hole was fucking awesome as hell. And so it was definitely, we don't need to repeat our experiences just yet. So first year was totally different than second year. I assume next year is going to be totally different than the second year.
Absolutely, if you do it right.
And so that was the thing, was like they sent out a notice saying there's openings for us to camp in Gate. Like, and I let them know that I'm the only one who's volunteering for Gate. And I'm camped with two people who are not. What do you think? And he was like, fuck yeah.
What, like, about the community of Gate do you like? Other than folks who are willing to leave each other alone if they look grumpy.
I mean, for me, that was enough. So it was like, I don't, obviously, we've been hanging out for a while. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty personable, but it's like not at every second of every day do I need to be on.
Yeah,
You're a loud introvert. I know this. This is a field of Gate.
Yeah.
Is loud introvert.
It definitely made sense. The more Gate people I interacted with, I was like, that guy belongs here. That guy belongs here. She belongs here. I fit in here. Well, like that person, they might not be in the right spot.
Yeah, they don't have a goatee.
Maybe they need to be a little further down the road at greeters.
You know, some people need to be greeters. We just all have to admit that some people need to be greeters.
We had some great folks on Gate last year when I was actually like, that would be a spectacular greeter. They let it in slightly the wrong spot. They'll probably figure that out.
That it is lovely. Some of us are lucky enough to land in a really good spot as volunteers right away. And it sounds like Arctica was fun, but Gate grabbed your heart.
Yeah, it just felt like that's the spot where I can be the most use. You know, one-on-one interactions, you know, repeating the spiel over and over again. It was good, hard work, and definitely enjoyed it. And I kept meeting people that I got along with outside of my Gate shifts, and they were all Gate people. So it was kind of funny. We fell in with this camp that was right across the street from Playa Home Companion last year, metal detected. And they had the drum kit right out on the street across from Playa Home Companion. We started talking to those people and really getting along. And this guy sat down and played drums for a bit. And I sang a couple songs and we hung out with them a bunch. And they were all life support for Gate.
Nice.
Like half the fucking camp or perimeter folks.
For our friends that aren't on the inside of the inside, life support is fluffers for Gate. Gate has decided that was not the correct term, and so they changed it.
And also, for the same crowd of people, fluffers, when not in the context of pornography,
In the 70s.
Are all the same.
Since the 90s, you have to fluff yourself.
in many volunteer departments at Burning Man,
You have to fluff yourself.
If that's true, I made the right decision in life.
there's a group of volunteers called fluffers sometimes who, rather than doing the volunteer work in general, support the volunteers who are doing the volunteer work by keeping them alive with
Food and water.
water.
It's so necessary.
And we would all
Also,
die
whatever else.
without life support. The life support is more accurate than
Pickle
fluff-
juice, popsicles. I'm just saying. Food and water, very, very necessary, but not nearly as important as the
juice
pickle juice.
Yeah, tell us about the
popsicles.
pickle juice popsicles.
So you know those popsicles that are basically a long strip of plastic with flavored ice inside?
like an
Otter Pops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dick ice, I call it.
So the best dick ice you've ever had tastes like a pickle with a jalapeno on it.
Well, that's the title of the episode.
The best dick ice you've ever had.
Thank you, Beth.
Yeah.
D-Day, we need to get an impulse sealer for the kitchen.
I was just thinking that we would get a lot of ice cube trays.
We're literally interviewing people.
Yes, but
How about dick
our
shape?
patrons are very interested
In
as
your
to
kitchen
where
supplies?
they can come
Also,
to get pickle juice.
Or
ice.
they're going to be
dick-shaped ice
our
cube.
neighbors. So
Oh.
if we're now discussing the presence of pickle juice otter pops in our kitchen, I think they'd like to know.
Who's our neighbor?
These folks.
Oh, great. Welcome.
Uh,
This is Accuracy Third. I'm G-Day.
I'm Beth.
We're going to just be on the other side of box camp this year.
Yeah, we're going to be your neighbors again, except on the other side of Box.
Well. Well, yeah, we are actually now in that camp, metal detected.
Oh,
Oh.
And where will you be this year?
Don't know
I hear
yet.
there's a drum kit.
There will be a drum kit and a double bass pedal.
Oh, fabulous.
You guys still need to come over and check out the kitchen.
For sure.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
it's...
I'm making
pretty great.
scrapple.
Are you making dick-shaped ice cubes that taste like pickles?
I mean,
We
it-
could.
moving on.
Question.
What was the first thing that really grabbed you about Burning Man when you got there that first year?
For me, it was this isn't like me saying the transformational thing, but it feels like halfway there, you know.
Content warning.
Content warning, I get weird. So it was weird. It was like I couldn't explain the acceptance I felt from the greeter.
Aw.
Like when they were just led us through the angel thing and did the hug was like fucking real.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like it was just one of those like they looked at us and they were like, "We're so happy you're here."
And they meant
gave me
it.
a hug that like said they meant it.
Yeah.
And I never
That wasn't the guy with his dick out. That was last year.
different year.
Oh, different.
Different Nakey J.
Different year.
Sorry. Just checking.
And for me, that was the first thing. Was as soon as we got there, it was just like I've never felt this just like raw welcome for no fucking reason. Like just
You're here.
you're here. We want you to be here. Let's do it. And I felt it.
That's...
Yeah, we can't do it
Great.
without you. We're making a city. We need everyone.
the only place you ever get
Almost.
that kind of welcome in the outside world is like a Mormon church, and
might
there's
not mean
almost
it.
nothing sinister on in our cult.
It's not a cult. We're a low-control environment.
That is so great. And just a reminder that greeters are incredible. Thank you, greeters. Despite how dorky we all think you are,
Someday we'll retire there.
sometimes you really welcome people in a way that allows them to be at Burning Man.
Also, for the record, it's totally a fucking cult.
It's not the...
But it doesn't separate you from your family.
Yeah, we're still friends with the people that leave.
Yeah, like it's a religion, sure, but a cult. Well, at least not a negative cult.
It's an ethos.
It's at least a political party.
It's an Ort movement.
Ort.
It's an Ort movement.
Ort
It's
movement.
that too.
We do it for the Ort.
Well, that's going to become merch.
Was there a in that first year as you were bussing your cherries all over Playa? Wow, something wrong with bussing?
No?
Thank you.
Don't
Thank
cops love busting?
Cops do love busting.
Cops love
Bust
busting.
a move.
Narcs love busting. I do not mind busting.
Full disclosure.
Yeah, I'm a buster of some renown. Moving on.
Was there a moment in your initial adventure where you questioned your decision?
In like the first year, the whole time, the whole week.
Yeah.
Not before. Got it.
Like, when were you there and you're like, this is the worst thing ever. Why did I do this stupid shit?
The very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell
So,
us about that.
so the preface of this is I am an asshole. So go ahead and. This is an important story that we jot down so people understand. I fucked up, and I realized I fucked up years later.
Yeah, because he's an asshole and I don't always use my words.
Aw.
And sometimes I have conversations that never happen.
Just in your head.
Yeah, yeah.
Not out loud.
Yeah.
I big brother a little too hard sometimes.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of years passed between the two burns that we did, but we were able to talk about it and just clear everything up, and then it just never happened again. But that being said,
Yep.
the thing that happened was it was the very end, and we're debating on whether to pack up or not. So it was what?
So we watched the man burn, and we had an absolutely fantastic night with the Canadians, and then solo with just the three of us, if that's a thing. And then the next morning we woke up and we're like, well, temple burns tonight. Do we pack up and leave after the temple burn? Do we leave before?
Yeah, thank you. And so we're just like kind of discussing that, and we're collectively not coming to a decision. And Warren's just like, this is what we're doing. And basically is like, yeah, we're going to leave soon, and you're going to pack it up because I'm not fucking, because I did everything. And then basically me and Jay start packing it up, and then Jay's like, I think I got something over there.
I got a thing to do that isn't packing up this camp.
Yeah, before you know it, I'm just packing up the camp. And it's not like I did it all solo, but I did a lot of it. Yeah, it was just one of those things where
That sucked.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, I bet it did.
It sucked. And yeah.
Yeah, I've been real butthurt packing up a camp by myself.
Oh
before.
yeah,
That's true.
I can feel that butt hurt.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person that feels that for years.
Oh. Yeah.
Because I never brought it up. And, years go by. And as we all had to kind of take the next year off, and by we, I mean the people with families. I didn't have to do anything. But I was like, I have no money. I guess I won't go this year. So a lot of time passed. And then as we start getting closer to this year being real, I just was like, I gotta bring it up, because it was a thing to me, and I brought it up, and he was just like, oh, shit.
I didn't even realize. Everyone knows I'm an asshole, but I didn't know I did that. I literally just, it was a whole week. It was a brand new thing, with such all these different experiences. And to be fair, I can kind of see how it might have happened, but I don't remember doing the things he said I did. But I'm like, I'm not going to argue. You're fucking pissed at me because I was an asshole. I'm sure I was an asshole. It's not out of character for me. And I'm like, we're just going to make sure that we don't do that next time. And, call me out on my bullshit. Because
feedback.
Yeah, but also it's hard. That's part of the whole sibling thing is like we are brothers, we are best friends, but we are also brothers, and it's one of those things where it's like I'm the big brother to him, and sometimes I big brother too hard, and apparently there's sometimes where someone has to make a decision, and I remember in my online gate training, before we got to Playa, they make you do this stuff on the Hive. One of the thing was like, it literally said, and I was like, holy fuck, they're calling me out. It was, they say something to the effect of sometimes people take the lead, and when people feel like they have to take the lead because no one else is, and they feel that that's the right thing to do. And unfortunately, that when one person just jumps in and takes the lead because no one's doing it, that none of the other voices are heard. And I was like, fuck, I did that.
I want to take gate training.
And then he told me that, and I was like, 100%, I felt like everyone was hemming and hawing about what the right action was, and I was like, well, fuck you dudes, I'm in charge, this is what we're doing, this is the rule, and I'm a big scary asshole, and so everyone fell in line, everyone resented it and hated it, and I was like, well, fuck, this is supposed to be fun.
But everyone loves that from me.
It's totally different for you.
Yeah, it's totally different.
I 100%.
Yeah, so that was the thing. Is like once we talked about, it was like you just accepted the fact that I bullied the shit out of you.
Well, here's what I'll say about this here's what I realized is and the reason why we went back, right, is because I realized too that if I had, because part of his thing was like, I've been cooking every day. I put all the logistics, because the honest truth is I was in San Diego. I had just moved out there. They were doing all the logistics of the
Late
Monkey
Bus did
Hive.
a very heavy lift to
Late
get
Bus
you out there.
And Naked J, I mean, Naked J bought my ticket.
He's got to buy your ticket with his dick flopping around. That's not easy. You can sit on that.
Yeah, this year I bought his ticket.
Oh, that's so
'cause
sweet.
That's how it works. But yeah, they did all the heavy lifting. And the reason why I allowed myself to be put in that position and accept it was because I felt like I didn't do
enough. And you're like, well, I have to do this now.
Right. And then when it was all coming together this time, I was separated from my lady friend, and I was in New Hampshire, and she was in California, and it didn't seem possible. And then it was possible, and we're like, wait, we can pull this off. And I was there. So I was able to like, oh, wait, he's already engineering the monkey hut. I should probably be around today. I should probably go help out. I should probably try to be part of the process. And then even when we were there, I did not all the cooking, but a lot of cooking. And it was just like, you just kind of be like, yeah, I mean, he shouldn't have done that. But also, if I felt good about my contribution, I probably wouldn't have accepted it.
Yeah, it's really complicated.
Sure.
And I think it's really interesting, you guys going out as like both siblings and with your brother-in-law, like close fucks, like you're together as a family.
Right.
And the level of negotiating that is a lot different than just like, hey, I paid $250 to be a part of this camp.
Yeah, you guys have a lifetime of interpersonal habits between the two of you. That's it almost sounds like Burning Man was transformational to your relationship with brothers. But
did you guys have that first year? Did you have like a moment out there between the two of you or between the three of you with your brother-in-law where it was just like, fuck yeah, this is positive for us and our
So
relationship?
much, like almost all of it.
Yeah. Day 1, minute 1.
It was just like we all knew we made the fucking right move.
Oh yeah. The whole fucking time. Landing in Sacramento, every aspect of it was hard. We slept in Walmart parking lots.
It's post-apocalyptic there.
Yeah.
For the capital of California,
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
fucking rough.
and we went all the way out, and it was like, when we setting up camp, the dust storm, all the bullshit. It was like every second of it was amazing. Meeting all these people. It was nearly perfect until that last day when no one could make a decision, and I decided it was my job to step up and be the lead. And I had been trying to get Naked Jay to lead the whole time, and on the last day we couldn't fucking decide. I'm like, well, fuck you, I'm in charge, this is what we're doing. And so that was awful. And we won't be doing that again, but it was a mistake we made after 7, 8, 9 days. And when we left, like, we were fucking done.
We were done with each other.
We were done.
Sure.
And
All three of us.
Yeah, completely done. And we were like looking at each other like, this guy's fucking just had it, and we're brothers. So it's like anything this guy says to me, it doesn't fucking matter. We're brothers, before and after. But, this asshole, he's just fucking my wife's sister. Right. Fuck this guy. And you know what?
Wear fucking pants.
And all this, what's funny is we hung out with the Canadians the entire fucking time we were there.
Too polite to be like, he's putting his dick on everything.
No. So Naked Jay doesn't like to wear shoes. He wears sandals or flip-flops everywhere. He doesn't like to wear shirt. So
He's conveniently jacked.
What does he like to wear?
he wore a blue bathing suit for the entire 8 days.
The same one?
Oh, yeah.
That is
like-
fucking vile.
And-
Jay.
Not like runner short high, but pretty,
And on the last day, one of the Canadian ladies was like, "Hey, there's something that's really bothering me, and I gotta ask you. I hope we're not overstepping, but are you wearing the same fucking shorts?" She was like, "Have you been wearing the same fucking shorts?" He was like, "Yeah, what's the problem?" She's like, "Oh my God." She probably was one of those people, she had nice cornrows. She probably had several outfits a day. And this motherfucker wore, muscles out, flip-flops, and these blue shorts every single day. However much clothes he brought, he didn't wear any of that.
I am fine with living in a tiny
Your
Speedo,
shorts also look
but
vile
put
out there.
shoes on. Don't do that to your feet. What is wrong with you?
We
that
just
your
gotta
feet?
hope that he was changing his underpants.
I
mean,
think those
Are
shorts
there
were too small to
underpants
fit.
under?
Yeah, you're not called Naked Jay if you're wearing underpants underneath those short shorts.
I mean, he's Naked Jay because in a place where it gets cold, he doesn't wait long. It just happens fast,
He's just constantly kind of naked.
Yeah, as soon as he can, he will. I hate to say he was probably smart enough to. Oh God, let's hope he changed his underwear in the time.
In my head canon, he didn't.
Yeah, that's fun.
I mean, look, it's a dry place.
Yeah, if you
But-
just baby wipe, I'm sure you're fine.
The balls still get swampy.
Oh,
There's no
yeah,
avoiding
I
it.
don't have testicles. I don't know what you do with them.
Imagine if your labia were like really long and also had marbles in them, like dozens of marbles in each one.
So earlier, this is off topic, but I wanted to say you were talking about the pearls that you place while you were depressed during COVID, the little beads that you made art with. And I immediately thought that you were talking about the beads that guys put under their
In
dick
prison.
skin.
Yeah, in prison.
Like that, it was just
Yeah.
like
No, that's what I was
immediately-
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so COVID was a lot like prison. So being home during the pandemic,
Just kept putting BBs in your dick skin?
Yeah. And because I was saying because I was watching a lot of Dune, so around the head of my cock is all, fear is the mind killer. All the way around. It's shorter than you think.
Legitimately, we had a lovely gutter punk human being who proudly displayed his genitals that were full of pearl-sized lumps, but they don't stay anywhere. They just become lumps. Whoops.
So it didn't become like the shape of Mario.
No, not at all. It wasn't aesthetic. It was just distressing.
My penis,
Look, Beth, some of us were really affected by Research Magazine.
Wow, I haven't thought about that in a lot. I was about to be like, what's Research Magazine? But no, I know.
But then you remembered those illustrations of Japanese guys with sharpened chopsticks inserting pearls.
It's where I saw Mr. Lifto before I met Mr. Lifto.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
I mean, I was pretty disappointed with my behavior at my first burn, but not that much.
I don't know
I don't
you
even
that well. I
remember
don't
what
know
we
yet.
were talking about. Let's just spin yarns for the next hour.
I believe we were talking about my penis.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a digression, but if not, please continue.
And my penis.
So you're gonna volunteer for Gate this year as well?
Look at him.
Yeah, I know. You look Gate as fuck.
It's not about the shirt.
No.
The difference between late bus pre and post gate is that now the black t-shirts have logos on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, as someone who also has like plastic black rimmed glasses, there's so many people on Gate with the same glasses that I have, but goatees and black shirts.
Check and check.
Yep. Yeah, and you too.
I'm not on Gate.
Yeah, yes. You.
And this is not a
Do you want to
goatee.
come volunteer for us
Yeah,
instead?
did they let you camp in their camp?
They did. They were awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a recruiting tool.
Have you been keeping up with your Arctican volunteering, or are you?
And peers.
I became a Piers.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
So last year I did Arctica and Piers, but I only did 2 Arctica ships.
What's Piers?
Stupid Beth. Everyone knows what Piers is.
It is
He'll
the-
tell you what Piers is.
The more you know.
Dun, 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 dun. It is the outreach team for placement. So basically, we go out and we talk to the camp leads and run them through a rigmarole that we read off of an iPad, basically. And
Like on Playa, you help place people.
you go and you talk to and you get information for placement.
You got that spiel in you? Can you give like
I don't have
pretend
the
I'm
iPad. So
Give me your fucking iPad.
So here's the thing, yeah, like I enjoyed it because it was just a reason to storm into people's camps and talk to them,
nice.
and it was just fun as fuck. And unless it wasn't, but it usually was. The crazy thing is I met all the salt on the first day.
Meeting camp leads is like meeting the painful ligaments of everything Burning Man. They are there. That actually sounds fun to me in a way that I like. Placement sounds scary because you have to do a lot, but like going and interviewing people and making sure the placement has information, that sounds fun.
That sounds like a fucking panic attack to me.
Yeah.
I would rather work all day in the sun than march into camp and try to get someone's attention. Be like, excuse me, I need to ask you some questions.
And stuff that does seem against your natural inclination to retreat all the time. Is it fun to do something where you feel like there's a safety around going in and getting random important people's attention?
Yeah, it was pretty much that. it was like after the first year, we had a great time. We met so many people.
Antarctica?
No, like just everywhere.
Yeah.
Burning Man the first year, we met so many people that we just got along with so amazingly. And who did I take one phone number? Fun number.
Yo number's fun.
Yeah, I know.
Fun stuff.
Did I really, like, I never put myself out there once. I never, like, and the people that we stayed connected with were because of him and Naked Jay.
Oh,
like,
because of Jay. Yeah, because Naked Jay is one outgoing motherfucker.
Like a-
sun's out, guns out, shirts off, mouths open, out there, handsome looking motherfucker.
Sounds like a popular guy.
It's real good to have extroverted friends.
Yeah.
I get it.
You know, I'm the scary looking dude standing behind him going, yeah.
And he's known me, the whole time. And he
The
knows
whole time. That's how that works.
I started as an extrovert, and like over time, people just bum me the fuck out. It just happens. But
You
yeah.
started as an introvert with positivity
Sure.
instead of depression.
Got it.
Like, this is,
You try to be an extrovert in New England your whole life.
oh, God, it'll just sap it right out of you.
I did it for a while until I couldn't. And yeah, so that was it. It was like started to realize I had looked at Burn Perimeter. I was really close to doing that. And then I found out what Peers was, and I was just like, man, maybe I just want to try this. And the whole thing, the reason why I still did Arctica as well is my girlfriend was coming for the first time, and
She's real light skinned.
yes.
Oh, she will die
We were
in the
just like,
direct sun.
This is the best thing for you. Like, I'm not telling you to volunteer because I want you to buy into.
I'm saying volunteer
Whatever.
so you can hug some ice
Yeah,
for a 6-hour shift.
Yep, and I'll do it with you.
Yeah.
And so as we did the volunteer exam,
There's a volunteer exam?
The quiz?
yeah,
There's a quiz?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
More of a quiz than an
Or
exam. Really.
questionnaire.
Sure.
That's the word.
Questionnaire.
Questionnaire.
Words.
The vault
sentences.
I like it being a test more than a questionnaire. I think
What
that's fun.
is up with you?
What is up with you is such a good question. And the volunteer exam.
Please use complete sentences.
Parentheticals.
yeah.
Run on and on.
So basically, because we work too hard in general and never want to, but do it anyways, we were looking at that like, well, you got to have a backup, right? Because what if this volunteer place doesn't take your free labor? Like, I don't know why we think like this, but
God damn. You're
our-
going to need an extra place to put in our energy. into.
That's how they tell you because they don't let you just ask for one thing. I think you got to pick 3.
sure. So we picked 3, and
Gate, and gate.
yeah, and she was just like, Piers sounds so cool, and he was talking to how cool Piers sounded, and I was just like, yeah, we'll check it off. And then basically she volunteered for Archka, and then she's like, yeah, did you take the Piers like training yet? I'm like, well, why would you take that? You're already volunteered. And she's like, oh, I just, what do you mean? And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll take it too. I took the training, and I was like, I think I want this.
Fuck, I want to take the Peers training too.
Beth, it's all fucking on Hive.
It's not
Go on Hive.
It's mostly on Hive.
It's hot on Hive. But they have to
Everything's
invite
on
me.
Hive. Join a group.
I've been blown away by Burning Man training. I am like really enjoying it a whole fuck ton. And Rangers training, like the online training before you even go to like do the in-person training made me cry several times. It felt so healthy and smart and like supportive of people. And then taking Hive training just about volunteer managers in general. Maybe this would be helpful for you. In our Hive training, we have feedback training about how it is that we hand people, potentially brothers who have abandoned us to clean up camp, information about how they've hurt us in the moment in a way that they can hopefully understand is loving and comes from a place of like generosity towards
Because
them.
feedback
It's a gift. It's a gift.
Beth, I feel bad about your behavior for butthurt reasons. And I would like you to change everything about yourself so that I can like you more.
Sounds reasonable.
I for butthurt reasons is where I'm going from now on.
And I would like to say that butt hurt is someone's really good playa name,
Butthurt.
but not
Oh
ours.
man,
That's name, actually. You got to cut that shit out.
no, that he
No.
doesn't get anything from me.
No, but like, you got to cut that shit out.
So is Piers kind of like the post-purchase survey of placement?
Yes.
How did you like your placement experience?
Yep, exactly. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of how did you like your experience? Looking for information about that exchange, how easy it was to deal with the people you dealt with, et cetera, et cetera. And then we're also looking for, did you do what you said you were going to do?
Right. That seemed to be the big thing.
Right.
Was, it's the after check is, sure, you filled out the questionnaire, you said what you were going to do, and they just go and make sure that when someone shows up in your camp, that the stuff that they were presented with was somewhat similar to what you said you were going to do in the first place.
So you knew what kind of interactivity the camp was supposed to be offering.
Yeah, which is also on the iPad. So you
Right.
have the paperwork of like showing you what they said.
Did you have any experiences where people were like wildly off? You had to like report?
100%.
Oh, fuck. How did that go?
Oh, sorry. I misunderstood the question because I didn't let you finish speaking before I responded.
Let's start over. Go ahead and ask us a question, Beth.
So you go to these camps and you're checking off if they're meeting what they say they're going to do.
Yes.
Have you run into camps that aren't meeting what they say they're going to do?
Not really that I could find.
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically it's you haven't had to have a Piers Ranger experience where you're
No.
like, this is incorrect.
No, and that's the thing too is I'm a little out of pocket here, but this is how I treated it, because you only have so much training, which was good training. But you're just like, give them a little leeway sometimes. So if it's daytime and what it literally says is that they do nighttime things, you're like, okay, what do you do? And if you find yourself at a neighboring camp, which would happen, they would keep you in the same neighborhood, or as much as they could, and did really well at it.
That's a beautiful way to get to know a neighborhood.
Then you can ask the neighbors, because that's part of the question too, is
Fuck yeah.
who's a notable camp in your neighborhood that you think is doing it right? Who is doing it wrong? Who is, all these things. And the thing is, there's some amount of lookout for pay and plays.
Plug and plays.
Those words.
That's
Yep.
the one.
Yeah.
Totally.
Sometimes words are hard.
People doing
Pay
it
and
wrong.
play is actually very accurate than plug and play.
But
Yeah.
But that's a pretty interesting thing because, your boots on the ground, you're talking to people the whole time, and Hand Stuff would come back and be like, people told me some shit, where they were like, we didn't feel like we were treated fairly in this situation, or they
In
would
their
just tell,
placement?
just in general.
A
And
bunch of stuff.
Dude,
yeah.
Piers sounds like mini Rangers in a way. Rangers about one topic. You might enjoy Rangering.
Yeah, because you find the crazy thing is just the timing of it. I did a lot of shifts and I loved it. But the first shift was just the one. It was just like met every salty team lead, and I'm like just trying to figure this out. And what is great is I ran into the person that was my partner that day at the end of the week. She told me, she's like, that was the only shift I did because fuck that. That was miserable.
Aw.
And I go, I'm telling you.
You're the fucking org. So when they have, they send this person, you're like, you're the fucking man. We got fucked over. We're really pissed off. We're going to take it out on you.
Yeah.
They're like, well, dude, I'm just a volunteer who's just taking down your data.
Yeah, but we're libertarians, and we don't think that the org should be running this event.
I open carry at Burning Man because I have a right.
I'm sorry, I haven't contracted with the Burning Man project.
And I go way back, and I know a lot of important people. But anyway,
I'm sorry. Do you know my dad? Do you know who my dad is?
That Burning Man
so
flag
you
has
don't know?
a fringed boundary, which means that this burn is under admiralty law.
Wow, is that an argument?
Dude,
God, people care so much about fucking flags for some reason. It is a pillowcase on a stick.
hand stuff.
sorry, real quick, just
No,
to
thank
button
you.
that up. I had to tell her.
The opposite of sex.
I had to
Excuse me.
tell I wanted to tell her that was the one. Like every other one of the shifts was great. I was like, it was just something about that day. It was weird.
I wonder if I'm assuming this was early in the week.
Yeah. Monday.
I wonder if like people have just been setting up for 24 hours and all they can think of is their
Right.
grievance. Then, once they've had a sleep and woken up and realized that everything is great at Burning Man, you get a totally
Except
different
the shape
response.
of our fucking camp. We were supposed to have a corner.
They also weren't all wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like there was valid points. It's just when you've been slammed by like 6 camps in a row, maybe the last one was the most right, but we just weren't like,
Right.
oh, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
yeah,
hear
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'm taking notes on this iPad.
What
It
I'm
got to a
doing
point
is
where-
kicking it up the ladder right now.
Yeah,
But would you do it again?
I am.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So that level of disappointing people to their face suits you.
Well, that was pretty much just that day, and they weren't disappointed. I think I handled it just fine. So
So-
it was like, I just kind of ate some shit and was like, cool, got it. Cool, got it. Okay, I got it.
I don't
I
want
got
to
it.
steal you from Pierce, but you would make a great ranger.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can do both. If there's one thing I know about Rangers, it's that they can work 3 departments at the same time.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
As somebody who, in their professional life and their Burning Man work life, for that matter, like has a boss, but not really. I'm not supervised. I have someone I let know what I'm doing, but I don't really answer to. It is delightful to be telling people no by like, oh yeah, I'm going to ask my boss. And then they get back to me like 4 days later or a week and a half later. They're just like, hey, so what's going on with that? It's just like, yeah, sorry, no. And like that answer comes from above my pay grade. So
Yeah, sorry, bro.
yeah, I'm just going to have to stop emailing you now.
Boss said no, gave me no details, but I really can't ask again. Sorry.
But hand stuff, the idea of working in the lanes was no fun for you, which is no fun for me. I can't imagine desiring to work in the gate lanes.
Quite honestly, when he first started talking about it, I'm like, this might sound cool. And he's like, hey, man, if we hang out together all the time, how are we going to meet friends? And I was like, good point.
That doesn't
Fucking-
sound like a thing I said. I will say this, that there is, I don't remember what it's called, but there is a online meeting for
Zoom.
for volunteers. Thank you.
Zoom meeting.
There is a Zoom meeting for volunteering.
Yeah, the
where-
volunteer Zoom meeting.
Yeah, so I ended up doing that, and so that's actually how we found out about Piers. Is I was pretty much already sold on Gate, so I ended up the first meeting I took. You get 3. The first one I did was Gate, and then I did Piers, and I was like, sounds pretty fucking cool. And then you had to pick a third one, so I did Gate the second time. And then Dorothy was like, this fucking guy again. You know, I was talking to them and we had a great fucking time. And afterwards, I was completely sold on Gate, but I was like, I think Piers is definitely for you and Naked J. And I thought was a great idea where if you don't quite know what to do, definitely supported my previous thought that Gate was the place for me. But then I saw Piers and I was like, oh, that's totally the spot where you should volunteer.
There's actually this really cool thing every year where the org is like, hey, if you want to volunteer for the org, here's a bunch of managers of a bunch of different teams to tell you about what volunteering
was
with them
fucking
is
awesome.
like. It's incredible.
It's called a Volunteer Connect.
It
It just happened.
I'm pretty sure it's called Zoom, like DD.
Yeah, it does.
yeah, it's a Zoom meeting.
Zoom.
We already solved this.
It's like zoom.com/volunteer connect and then 30 letters and numbers.
but like quite legitimately, if you are a human being who wants to get involved in volunteering with the org, this is a great way to do it. All of these teams want you too. And it's like, it's a chance to hear about what they do and figure out if you mesh well with them, if the thing that they do out there is something that you will have fun doing.
To be
Because there
honest,
are so many damn teams.
There are, and they're all recruiting for like, competent people.
and they fill up. Like
Piers needs people.
everyone
They
needs
still,
people.
like, under the
Everyone needs like 7 to 40 people until like the last week in June. Sure. So if it's not the last week in June, which it definitely isn't when this comes out, because this is coming out in like fucking February next year. Since it's February, you have several months to get your shit together and plan to connect with a Burning Man team that you're interested in before June. Like, don't fucking do it in March. No one's working on volunteers in March. Don't be an asshole. But mid-April to like June 1st, you can get on a team.
Yeah,
You can get on our team right now in February.
don't.
No, check
Maybe
out
I need a dishwasher next year too.
check
Yeah.
out the Burning Man website and find out when the Volunteer Connect Zoom meeting.
There's-
It's probably in May.
If you are someone who's excited about it, then there's a bunch of teams that would be excited to have you volunteer. I love that as the way that you guys got onto it, because I am only used to nepotism as the way that you get on a team where it's just like, oh, I lead a team and I've met you, a person that I can see would do well here.
You appear to be breathing.
Yeah, not even though. So this
We
guy,
have social ties so that if you fall through, I can shame you to some of your friends.
That sounds very powerful.
this dude recruited me and my entire triad with like, oh, you do theater work?
You volunteered to help this lady
You've
move from a bad
been to
situation
Burning
on a
Man?
moment's notice.
Obviously, you could join this team, but there's actually a much more straightforward way in case you don't happen to run into a manager of a Burning Man team while helping a friend out.
Yeah,
and
Zoom Connect.
if you want to
Yep.
do something
Zoom.com, I heard.
slightly more integrated and interesting and nuanced than humping benches out of a tractor trailer.
Yeah. Take the test. The volunteer test.
It will tell you what to hump and when and how.
Yeah. What are you about? Humping.
What's your name, Nakey? What?
That sounds like a greeter kind of name.
100%.
Yeah. Because of that guy who now has to get consent to hug people naked.
Nakey J is not actually naked.
Right.
He just has a lot of muscles and prefers to not wear a shirt.
He has filthy shorts that you wish he'd take off.
Accurate.
He's just always Mickey Mousing.
I just didn't want to not say a positive thing. Like the best thing about peers was you would just end up meeting cool fucking people. Like
Yeah.
and
Like me,
no,
his brother.
but also like all of a sudden you're talking to
The head of giant theme camps.
huge
Who are putting in tons of effort and work. Like the second you talked about it, I'm like, wow, you must be interacting with people
Elon
that
Musk.
you like really admire and respect.
It's
because Elon
everything.
Musk would never lead a theme camp because you
No, but he would
have
make you talk to him when you're like, who runs this theme camp?
When you-
He'd be like, I do.
when you run a theme camp, you're doing a tremendous amount of emotional and practical planning and labor. You're the production manager of a camp. It's so much work. And those folks tend to be amazing or psychopaths.
or both.
Or both. Yeah.
I think I met one of the boths, but
Look, I'm a big fan of the Bolfs.
Just because you're a psychopath doesn't
I
mean,
mean, you
you're-
aren't amazing
Yeah,
at
you can be a good person and a psychopath.
Yeah.
Usually they choose not to.
It's uncommon, but
the Cirque du Soleil dude,
Which one?
the frog camp.
Oh, we
oh,
heard
you
about
did
frog
you did
camp.
Pierce for Frog Camp.
Yeah,
Wow, how was that?
nuts. It was like, so all these doors just go to small cabins in this RV, huh? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, so this RV is shared by 12 separate people. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
12 people in one RV.
Maybe I'm generalizing, but it wasn't an RV. It was
Wet.
an RV that had cabins.
Right.
What is it you would say that it is that you do here?
But for sure, the whole time I was like, who is this guy? Like, this guy is out of his mind and impressive, and what's going on? Like, and then find out he's one of the Cirque du Soleil investors. And I was like, oh, okay.
Investors, yeah.
So not the Cirque du Soleil guy at all. The
Well,
money guy.
I don't actually know what I'm saying, but something like that.
It
Accurate
sounds
third.
accurate. Yeah.
I Googled something. I forgot. About
Those are words. I'm a wordologist. I will agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100% words.
Is there anything in your time at Burning Man that has made you guys feel closer to each other? Other than eventually getting around to talking about your feelings, like way years later, but like during Burning Man, have
This
you
podcast, Beth.
Yeah, good point. Good answer. Next question.
They flew here from New Hampshire.
This year.
I flew.
Nah, just because he
they
came from
drove
San Diego, doesn't mean he didn't originally fly to California.
He did not fly.
For
He
accuracy
drove.
third.
Because he's a crazy
Look,
person.
this is my narrative.
Hey, D-Day, I'm really sorry for interrupting you all those times.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm done.
You have the floor.
Now, Beth, ask him another question.
Did you guys find like some lovely brotherhoodness in your time at Burning Man together? Or is there like moments where you remember becoming closer to each other?
Well, I think it was this year when, I've listened to your podcast too much, so I've heard the whole, like, don't bring anything out there you don't want to
Lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm real big. It's fucking hard to lose me. It's a desert. I wear all black and I'm tall.
wasn't worried about losing him, and was bringing, my girlfriend out there for the first time, and she was very excited. She's also pretty much allergic to the sun, so there was some, I was a little nervous about it.
About bringing someone you love to this place that will absolutely kill them.
Right, who happens to... Tanning is just not a thing that happens.
Yeah, she
for
gets
her.
sun cancer. That's on you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And just the way that we pulled it off, because Naked Jay couldn't be with us this year, and she took his ticket, and it was the three of us. And just the way that, like, we fucking pulled it off was like...
You felt that lovely connection with your brother.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because...
She put up with our bullshit like a fucking champ.
That is confirming of a partner. It's like, you can put up with this? Oh,
Now-
I see.
Now, do what you want with the statement that I'm about to say. We resided in a monkey hut for several days under the shelter in place piss and jug situation.
Oh, you
Flooded
can just
camp.
pee right on Playa. Beth said so.
Shut up.
Loud enough for everyone to hear.
Shut up.
We had to get a talking to because of it.
I turned around like a gentleman, but it was a very personal situation that she dealt with just fine, and we are closer for it.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like, you're stuck under a PVC and tarp structure with two brothers who are like, well, fuck it. Let's get hammered, listen to Mac Miller in Piss and Jugs. And she's like, why the fuck did I drive?
Is she coming back next year?
Yes,
Fuck yeah, that's a keeper.
That's a badass bitch right
Yeah.
there.
Right?
she is. She's gnarly.
Fuck yeah.
And she loved it.
Well, not the jug work.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
mean,
not
you
all of
can
it.
love it while not watching your partner's brother pee into a jug.
Sure.
Yeah.
I turned around. I cannot specify this enough. I turned around like a gentleman.
How was the swamp inn for you guys?
It was all right. It was all right. It was all right.
It was the best for me because we went out when we went out. We hung out with Metal Detected on Saturday.
Got
And
hammered.
oh, fuck, we got shit cam. And I played piano, and he played drums, and we drank beer, and we ate mashed potatoes and chili.
I brought them all this beer that I was supposed to host a bar
Oh, yeah.
that was no longer being hosted.
on Friday
So-
night, which never happened.
Uh-huh.
And I had
Golden
brought-
Guy Alley. Tell
Yeah.
that whole.
You guys were going to go do Golden Guy Alley?
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell that whole fucking.
That
story.
was him just being on Reddit and being like, dude, I think this is you. Like, just someone had posted, hey, we're a Golden Guy Alley bar and we're looking for someone to take a midnight shift. And he's like, I think this is you. I think this is the way that you contribute because I'm such a beer nerd and I like, talking about it. I like drinking it with people. And I was like, fuck it. So I reached out and they were like, this is the coolest. Like, you could just tell they hadn't heard that answer.
Like, yay.
I was like, we're going to do vodka tonics and fancy craft beer from both coasts. And he's like, yes.
Fuck yeah, we love you. Dear God, thank you.
Yeah, and so I went like all in, like it's hard not to do, and shipped out tons of cold Vermont IPAs.
Fuck yeah.
Hill Farmstead, specifically, my favorite brewery. But when it didn't happen, what I did first was I went to the Black Hole and someone yelled at me and they're like, "It's closed, idiot!" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go put this fancy
All
beer.
of this fancy beer for your bar.
I'm just putting it in the cooler."
Asshole.
And he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, that's amazing." And so I open up the cooler and there's like 4 warm Rolling Rocks.
Oh,
I
And
had
I
one of
put in-
those. I had one of those last year.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I put in, like, of course I'm not putting in any ice, but I put in 2 4-packs of like the best stuff you can get in Vermont and in San Diego. And we hung out and we were just kind of heckling people and trying to pour them fancy beer. Nobody was interested. Someone came up, they're like, "What's in here?" And I'm like, "Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Fancy
blah, blah."
beer.
And
They're
he's like, "Cool, warm Rolling Rock it is."
So we met last year. Yeah. Like, I'm not kidding. That is an interaction I had in the Black Hole last year.
Yes.
I am also white trash. Nice to
Very
meet
possible.
Man, I fucking liked IPAs on the East Coast. When I was drinking it and I was out, I would have like one a night. But out here, like, it is the entire fucking convenience store.
It's true.
I want a beer flavored beer.
It's that or it's MGD. And MGD is fine. But, like, can we have a step above that?
It's not.
So basically, Warren comes out and he's like, "Why don't you just bring all this shit to Metal Detected?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Fine." So we go down there, like, "You guys want to drink some craft beer?" They're like, "Yes, we do."
and they're like, we love you. Please camp with us.
And then
be
we're
our
like,
friends.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're like, "Hey, we're out of beer. If we went back, 8 feet that way and came back with more craft beer, you guys don't?" Of course. And then we end up at a bar. As one does, they're like, "Okay, cool, let's take you to a bar." And that's where I actually met my first Piers partner and was like, "I'm telling you, it's cool. It's cool. Just trust me, it's cool."
So you'll like it. You'll like it. You will like it.
If you tell yourself enough, you might believe it.
It's true.
That's so fucking great. I'm glad you guys had a blast in the,
In the mud.
in the mud.
Thank you, Mac Miller. Thank you, Coors Original.
The banquet.
Coors. You got to say it like Sam Elliott. Coors.
Coors.
Thank you, Coors. And thank you, whoever was going down the middle of Gate Camp in quads and side-by-sides, ripping mud to the sky and enjoying the fuck out of that shit, because they were going so hard. And I was like, I get how you probably have to do your rounds, but you could probably throttle down where you go through the middle of Gate Camp. But the fact that they didn't is, I appreciate you. Because,
I'd love to shame you if I wouldn't have done the same.
oh yeah.
Mud is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, if I had some sort of buggy last year, I would have driven it all over the goddamn
Yeah.
place.
Who am I to say I wouldn't have gone right for the mud?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, after last year, I thought we agreed quad bikes for all of us.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Even if they're only little, like, 110cc ones, let's do that.
Listeners, you can find us on Patreon at
Oh, my God.
Buy us quads.
Yeah, we're going to need a trailer for him, too. And speaking of, I'm probably
You're not
going to
wrong.
need a 6-cylinder truck that's 4-wheel drive.
I mean, take the probably out. You definitely do. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't pull quads.
I couldn't afford one.
So you as a gay volunteer, what would
Gate. You have to hit that T back.
why they don't spell it like that.
I'm not a gay volunteer.
gaped?
It's Gayte. Have you ever seen it written out?
Sometimes.
How would you let other people who might be considering doing a gaped situation?
Don't volunteer for gaping unless you're 100% sure that that's what you want to do.
It's
That
only
would be my
gaped
advice.
after Exodus.
But like for folks who like, what is it about volunteering for Gate that you enjoy? That someone might be like, hey, this is for me.
That's a pretty tough call.
Do you live in the dark?
Do you like heavy metal?
Or Morrissey? Are you like, I still listen to Morrissey even though he's a fascist? Well, then, you might be right for Gate.
Do you like Satan?
Look, there's
No
a
more
big
questions.
there is a
You've
big difference
answered it entirely.
between spinning girlfriend in a coma and going to see one of his shows where he salutes Pinochet on stage or whatever it is he's up to these days.
So actual
House might suck, but at least they're not fascist.
So actual answer, it's super hard work, but it's one of those things where if you're not quite sure where you fit and you want to work really fucking hard and you might be a masochist and you maybe like Malort, it might be your spot. Do you wear all black in the middle of the desert in August? You might belong a gate.
If you want to do something where your work makes you kind of feel like a badass, but you don't actually want to have to swing a sledgehammer all day, gate.
If you might forget your waterproof eyeliner and you want to be around a community of folks who have plenty to share, gate.
And full disclosure, I was new blood last year, and I do not in any way, shape, or form represent gate.
Oh, nice.
Good disclaimer, every gate person represents gate.
Probably a good thing to say about peers as well.
Everybody can read the title of this show.
I was just out there making shit up.
Okay, so there's a story you guys have been not telling us all day. So now you're on mic.
Yeah, which one?
We don't know. We
I don't
didn't
know.
write
You've
the
been
list.
not telling us.
What's on your list?
So which
There was one you were like that you kept sort of gesturing at as a full story.
are we talking about? My pre-Burning Man adjacent stories?
No, but
Are they
those
good?
we can
We'll
we can
get
do
to,
that.
we'll
too.
get to those, but you got to give me more because I remember we were
So I mean, I got one, but if you got one, you go first. 'Cause
Doesn't
that's-
sound like
It,
he has
it
one.
was
That's some deferential little
it was
brother shit.
substance use oriented.
so
Yeah.
I don't know what story we're talking about, but right now Hand Stuff is going to tell you about his walkabout.
Yeah, and it actually like flows from that day of just doing shelter in place with metal detected and getting wasted on craft beers, and then ending up back at camp, our camp, after going to the bar and just being, all day drunk. Basically, we hang out just low key, listening to some bullshit, having a few beers, and then my girlfriend goes to bed, and I'm like, eventually, I guess I'll just do that. So I go and lay in bed for a minute, and I'm just like, I don't know.
We're right in the middle of gate camp, like right in the center. So he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the Portos real quick," which is right behind the black hole.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to go for a little walk.
I'll be right back.
Be right back. And I made some odd decisions, because also this is the first day I've been wearing my vest, which has all the stuff, because it's cool and I can actually wear a hoodie. And I was like, oh, this is nice.
It's nice not to have everything attached to you.
Right. Except for I probably...
When you're in camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I made some odd decisions. I was like, cool, gotta suit up. So I will make a drink that's vodka and pineapple juice in my water bottle. That
Step one.
clip that.
Yep.
Oh, some bag of edibles. Yeah, let's grab that. Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a good start.
I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's all you need, right?
You just need vodka
I mean, you were
and
just
edibles.
going to the toilet.
Yeah.
No shoes.
No, you're going to the Portos.
So,
Once the rain started, shoes were sometimes the wrong choice.
right. So my stance in all the in
Whatever you're thinking right now.
in the footwear debate was, one person was like, I'm gonna bag it all the way to, and we taped her up to the knee, and then Warren's like, I'm gonna put socks.
Over your shoes?
But penis, but yeah.
Right. Right.
You don't want that dragging in the mud.
And I just went, I want the grip. I don't want to slip around, and my feet are pretty awful anyways. Let's just send it.
Everybody's feet are
Yeah,
pretty
I've
awful.
already got trench foot.
I had already also been that person that wore flip-flops at the first Burning Man and saw no real consequence.
I've never had plywood.
I was just like,
It
yeah,
doesn't bother me.
whatever.
His feet look mostly like leather most of the
I
time.
like
anyway.
to walk around barefoot.
Same.
So
That's disgusting,
Years
but go on.
of that, years of that
Continue.
will make you consider that maybe ply-a-foot isn't for you. But
It's for no one, but maybe it won't happen to you.
right,
No matter what I do, not at Burning Man, not immediately after Burning Man, but like the last week of September, first week of October, no matter what, my feet fucking peel. It's gross.
That happened for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's an after
So,
thing. I might
at
as well
the-
be foot in dust.
When you hear the entirety of the
Yeah.
story,
Sure.
it makes more sense at the end of the story
So
why.
yeah,
right?
like all day I'm walking around barefoot and it's working out just fine for me. And every time we went back, like we go back for beers, I'm going to clean my legs and my feet, But later, when I just decided, I think I need to go for a little walk, I didn't suddenly put shoes on. Didn't suddenly take water. I thought it was going to be smart that as soon as I left the camp, I popped 20 milligrams. And
Of weed.
Of substances that are legal in a lot of places.
yeah, legal California THC gummies.
A rational adult choice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vodka, pineapple, no shoes, gummies. Let's
Yeah. This is standard Burning Man choices.
midnight Saturday post rain.
Oh, yeah. You're fucking on it, hand stuff.
Out of curiosity, for context, how big a hit is 20 milligrams for you?
20 milligrams
chemistry.
for me is a full day coma. For this motherfucker, it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's a morning cup of coffee.
Normally,
Normally.
when I'm not
Normally.
all day drunk,
Yeah, a full day
they
of
do
partying
multiply
with
each
crap
other,
beer.
do they not?
they sure do. So I get out of camp, I'm a little way down the road, and I'm like, I don't even have a light.
No headlamp, no.
Just walking off without shoes or a light.
And normally, I'd have all of these things.
With the vest, when it's hot, he's got his full gear set up. But it's been cool, so he's wearing a hoodie. He doesn't have any of that gear.
Got a little too drunk. And anyways, so I realized no light, and I get to Open Playa, and I was like, seems to make sense to take another 20 milligrams.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm not gone up from this edible yet, so I should take more.
Yeah, pretty boring out here.
Yeah, because you don't want to start to come down and then go back up. You want it to kind of piggyback.
Yeah, you talk like someone who's never taken edibles before in your life.
Yeah, what have we been doing all day long? What have I not been doing?
Edibles are the best and the worst drug that has ever existed.
They're the best until they're the worst.
Until they're the worst, and then there's no escaping how the worst they are.
Until you don't die.
Yeah, well, like, there's no escaping until you're through.
Right.
The only way out is through for a bad edible strip.
If you're sick of me and you want me to be gone, give me an edible and I will sleep for 8 hours.
That won't help you drive off.
so
You won't see me drive.
So you made a series of pretty bad choices.
Epic choices, I
And,
think.
and
Great choices.
then how does that
seems
end up
too
working
severe.
for you?
So I get into Open Playa, and I'm just walking towards the man, and I just come upon a desk. Just a magnificent, like, large oak type desk with leather corners.
Did you poop in it?
No, I hadn't even gotten to the drawers, but no, it had drawers, and I did not make them poop flat. Yeah, so I just see this beautiful desk. It's got, an area for papers to go that there isn't any, and there's an old rotary phone, and I open up the drawer, and there's 2 lights, just cheap kind of LED lights. Like, one was a solar light, and I just turn it on. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Stick my hand up in the air. Just kind of hold it up there for, time is hard.
20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Who knows?
Time. Time.
And two
Time is a
people-
flat circle.
And 2 people show up, and they're just like, hey, how's it going? Nice desk. And I was like, are you going to answer that phone, or are you just going to stand there? And the dude just looks at me like, what the fuck? I'm like, I got all these papers to file. I don't know where to put them. And I'm trying to file the papers. But, I mean, honestly, if you're going to be here, could you answer that phone? And he's like, absolutely, and picks up the phone, and it's like, numbers, yeah, sure. all right,
Science.
Sell, buy, and...
Parenthetical.
And the person that was with him is just standing there fucking laughing. And yeah, we pretended to do that for an amount of time that wasn't that long.
More time.
Somewhere between 1 and 1,000 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes. Yeah, and then just high five and left. And I just put my hand up again, and this happened 2 more times. Pretty much exactly like that. And as soon as I said it, people were like, yeah, sure, all right. You know, like, do you want the papers over here? I don't know what to do. Why are you yelling? You know?
Use marijuana responsibly.
Right.
Edibles are a different drug than smoking. Remember.
Yes.
Your liver will thank you.
Yes.
You've described some choices you described as poor, but that sounds like a great time. That can't be the end of this story.
Right. Up until then, it was the best time.
Yeah. So
And
then what
And
happened?
then after the last group of people leave, I'm like, should have asked them for water.
Right. So keep in mind, no shoes, no lights, vodka pineapple, no water.
And by this-
Several social interactions where most people are very cordial and very able to give aid to. So if you
Folks
say,
are nice.
oh yeah, but forgetting how high oneself is and forgetting to ask for, hey, do you have something that I could drink?
That isn't this vodka.
Which he did not drink because he knew he was well too high to be drinking.
I think we can all agree is the only good decision I made through. You'll agree by the end.
I would have drank. I would have drank that whole drink.
Because
I don't.
I just knew I was.
I don't
so
know what's
thirsty,
good.
and I was like, I can't.
Oh,
Like, that is just not it.
Yeah.
Whatever edible high I'm on.
Put it
at
in
that
my
point, it was like,
veins.
no. The only thing I did through the whole thing that was smart was like, you do not need that.
Good
You don't
job.
need that.
Appropriate choices.
Sure. So I'm like, now I realize, all right, it's time to leave this great desk. It's time to leave this weird, bizarro set of madmen where, like, there was nothing in between it and the man. Like, it was just beautiful. And I start to attempt to get myself off open playa.
Back into the city.
Get back into the city.
Gotta go home.
Yeah.
Gotta get food. Gotta get water. And
A
maybe
smart man.
maybe some shoes. And I start walking
Maybe
around.
some water.
Now it's cooled down a lot, and like the ground is hard. Where it was broken, parts are hard, and I'm like kind of gingerly walking, trying to take the pressure off of my feet.
Barefoot, post ramp.
Barefoot, and they're starting to hurt a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes the playa bakes into fucking crystallized clay.
Right.
Especially
Out there.
after the 3 rains.
Oh, yeah. Water makes it worse.
And even though it was fine all day, I still walked around barefoot all day. Now we're whatever time it is in the AM until it is now daytime. The sun has come up. I am not able to remove myself from open playa.
Walking in circles.
Bingo. Just kind of falling in a calculated way as to not hurt my feet in circles. At this point, like, there's starting to be people out, and I got heckled by a few groups of people, and that's fine. Any energy I would have imagined to a response can definitely go to, like, staying alive and moving. And I'm like, you win this battle. And then this just beautiful dude just comes up to me, and he was like, hey, do you need help? And I think I responded with, I need water. And there was not that much noise, and I couldn't really make noise. I was so thirsty
Fuck.
and just high out of my brain. And
The sun was coming up at this point?
it's up.
It is up. So you have been high as fuck for quite a while.
Yes.
By my count, his girlfriend went to bed around 9. We were hanging out, having a great time till about 11. I think he left camp around 11 p.m. So whenever the fuck the sun comes up,
Oh, wow.
and I just assumed he was sleeping in the car because when
Why would he be doing what he is doing?
it precisely.
Right.
So let's say 7:30 in the morning.
Earlier than that, but
But even 6 hours gone, and the sun's coming up.
yeah, actually, well, by this time, it's getting early. And this person walks up to me and says, do you need help? And I can't respond. He's like, do you need food? Do you need water? And I was like,
Second one.
pull out my cup.
You got saved by the lovely burners who are just like, hey, it looks like you might die if I don't pay attention.
And
to
this
you.
really sucks, Beth,
Yeah.
but the play provides.
This awesome person then fills up my cup and slam that thing, and I'm instantly speaking sentences. Thank you so much.
Holy
You're-
shit, I am not dying anymore.
Holy shit, you're the best. Wow. And so he looks at my feet and says, are your feet all right?
Oh, they always look like that.
And I said, mistakes were made.
Will you carry me home?
You're big.
I'm just trying to get back to my camp. Where's your camp? Fucking black hole. Oh, no shit. Well, and just starts to break down what we're looking at. So that neon tree, you're going to want to walk to that. Okay, I understand that. He's like, great. And he goes,
Good luck, asshole.
yeah, no. And he goes, when you get home, obviously clean your fucking legs and feet, and then produces this like badass pair of wool socks, like huge, thick, like no bullshit. I'm going hiking in like real wool socks,
Red heels, red tips.
thick as fuck. And basically, it was like, put these on, and it would just feel amazing. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm gonna make it back.
I can survive this.
And he goes, I know.
oh.
And we had one of those, same thing as like the greeter hug, that like real fucking hug. It's like, yeah, I got you. Yeah, and then I fucking walked towards the neon tree. I got to the city. I knew where the fuck I was. I got home. Because we switched where we slept in the rains. We were sleeping in the car. I opened the hatch and my girlfriend's like, did you wake up early? And I'm like, wake up.
Wake up early. I ran the fucking marathon today, honey.
Wake up.
I'll tell you tomorrow.
I said, I did not go to sleep. And then cleaned my feet, put the socks on, crawled in the bed, did not move for 12 hours. Just slept in a hot car that was not in the shade in the middle of the day for 12 hours.
That is so good. That is so lovely. So, in the reality where we have to constantly pressure people to take care of themselves, it's because this community will take care of you. Like, it is because if anyone sees a shoeless, disoriented man in the middle of Playa,
Fucking killing it.
they're gonna be like, how can I help? Do you need
Well, the ones that don't heckle you first.
For clarity, yes, it was not everyone. But
Lots of heck.
I would ever fault that. It's like, no, I'm out here acting a fool, and I'm just glad that I ran into that person that was just like, you know what, I got you.
Do you guys remember that, I believe, English guy that we ran into on Playa who was in jean shorts and nothing else?
Yep.
And was like, I've got this all covered. And we gave him water and we were like, please go back that direction as opposed to this direction. He's like, I've got this all done. We're like, okay,
Yep.
goodbye,
He
friend.
was confident.
Yeah.
That's how they conquered the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no reason for people who burn to be taking over southern continents, but they did. Boy, I've got no cute brother stuff to share on this podcast. Woo-wee. Nope.
I'm kind of hoping someday I can bring my brother out. I would really be interested. He would absolutely love it. He'd take to it like a fish to water. That's just the kind of person he is. I would love to see what it did to him.
Yeah, I didn't really interact with my sib when they came out.
Yeah.
We had fairly separate burns. But apparently they're plugged into lakes of fire.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm only okay with my brother coming out now as opposed to, before I was 40, where it's like, where I was like, I don't want my brother to witness me at Burning Man because I'm doing stuff that I'd rather not have my family witness because that is not.
Like coming once an hour for an entire day.
Yeah, something like that. Or sure.
But now that
And I'm oddly fine with my folks being out for that.
now that you're over 40, they're no longer youthful indiscretions. This is your life, and nobody can touch you.
Yeah, these are capital C choices.
I mean, it's also just, I now know how I could hang out with my brother, which is having like sibling time as opposed to having him camp with me. Like, that's totally doable.
Yeah. You just take him to the pickle bar. Or Dome on the Range.
He would really like Dome on the Range.
Everybody likes Dome on the Range.
That's
Great.
true. It's a great bar.
I mean, if you want him to have the Burning Man experience, you take him to Lip Balm.
I mean, that is absolutely what I would do with my brother is a bar crawl, because that's a situation he feels comfortable in. That's something he's familiar with, because everything else is going to be unfamiliar. But like an evening out with the guys where you walk from bar to bar is something he still like does. I mean, not as loudly as when he was in college, but this is something that will seem normal and will blow your mind.
Well, my brother and I are going to talk about Stephen King books and sports, I guess. But what are those sports you do where you pretend you're a manager? Those. Maybe for money. I don't know.
I love siblings and family stories. I'm just going to put this out to our listeners. Like, hey, if you have those stories, if you go to Burning Man with your family, if you go to Burning Man with your siblings, your parents, your kids, I really like those stories. I think it's interesting because it is so societal rules breaking. It's something that I've always had a hard time conceptualizing as a family experience, as like a biological family experience. Obviously, it's a chosen family experience, but I find the stories that we hear from people who do it as a family are great. And both the parents of my friends and the children of my friends have been really interesting to get to know. Yeah. I like it when we have parents or kids in camp for the first time. It feels like you get so much extra context into this person that you've been working with. Like Andy's dad, Pops.
But also Andy's mom.
Oh,
Andrew Christopher's mom.
I mean, I think
Saint
of Kate is my friend. Like,
Well, you knew Kate before Kate came out to Burning Man. I had met Kate, but I didn't get to know Kate.
I hadn't even met Kate, but Kate's my mom now. So
I love her so much. It's like she blows me away. And she's so great out there, too. Like, watching Kate and Larry at Burning Man was a treat. And incredible volunteers who want to come and do the work. One of the things that I really admire, or like, I feel like Burning Man is the place for you to go if the party, like the fun of it is the work. And so when people are like that, I like admire it, where I'm like, oh, you obviously like coming out and doing the work. That's the part that you enjoy.
And to bring it back to Late Bus and Hand Stuff, those are two guys who really like doing the work.
Yeah, that's clear.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
What an incredible set of siblings they are. And there's biological siblings and there's social friendship siblings. And I would like to present a challenge to Nakey J on the Discord and elsewhere. Nakey J, get on this fucking podcast. You tell us your stories about you and about Hand Stuff and Late Bus. Every couple episodes, I think it's important that we levy a direct challenge to somebody.
Sometimes it works.
I like this.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Android, yours is still active. You're fucking listening to this right now. Please come on the podcast, please. You're real cool. The music in this episode is,
By
as
Hand Stuff.
previously
You
mentioned,
said it.
by Hand Stuff. But the
Stuff.
song is called Wackadoo. Good track. Good track, Hand
On
Stuff.
point.
And thank you to Late Bus for all of our other music and all of our other episodes. Not this one. This one is Hand Stuff's special time.
Do you?
It was really great to hang out with you guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you to our patrons on Patreon. If you would like to be on the show or a patron on Patreon, we've told you before how to do it. We'll tell you again how to do it. Why do we have to tell you about it right now?
That's how outros work. We do calls to action and we give the contact info. That's why you printed up the thing.
I love when we're at Burning Man talking to someone and we're just like, you should be on the show. You should email us at accuracy. And they're just like, yeah. I know. You guys are great.
Yeah, but if we're like talking to you on Playa and you haven't been on the show yet, you come be on the show.
Yeah, and don't like just assume it's going to happen. You got to reach out when we're not on Playa. Not all of us remember everything on Playa or out here.
So yeah, hit us up. accuracy3rd@gmail.com. You spell it all out. There's no numbers in it. And if you make music, hit us up there. Share your music with us. We'll feature your music on this podcast, and we'll get you upwards of 5s to 10s of new listeners to your musical project.
And if you don't have a Playa name, reach out. We have a foolproof system to give you a Playa name and then put you on our Discord where we can be friends with each other on the internet. It's happened like half a dozen times. It's the best. Fill out the survey. Send us pictures of your pets.
Where are we going to have the party this year?
Yeah. Do you want to host our party?
Do you have an answer to that, listeners?
That really stressed me out.
Aha.
It's March as fuck, guys.
I know.
It totally is. And this is our 10th anniversary party.
Oh, shit.
10 years of Accuracy Third?
Jesus Christ.
But I didn't design a logo for that. Now I need to design a third logo for this year.
I guess that's kind of cheating because we started after 2015 burn.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 10 years since conception.
Yeah.
Yeah, the project started 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The podcast started soon after, but no one will ever hear that audio ever.
I mean, we were releasing 4 months off of Playa.
Yeah, but
It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
But we lost a lot of that audio.
Oh, yeah.
In the great data storage wars of 2016 through 2018.
I mean, I have to say, Lamplighters is so great and easy and lovely. I really enjoyed that.
This is my official vote for the saloon.
The DPW saloon?
Yep.
It's not open during the week.
DPW Saloon, is it open during the week? Please reach out to us on our Discord or at accuracy3rd@gmail.com. That is accuracy3rd@gmail.com. BurnerNarc.com.
So I would love it if someone cool invited us, but I like Lamplighters a lot. And I feel like it's either Lamplighters or it's Center Camp itself.
I mean, we could just bully our way into center camp, take the center stage, demand people tell our stories.
Let's give it one more year.
I was just thinking the bar at Center Camp.
Is it a good bar?
You bring your own shit.
Oh, well, we have our own shit.
Yeah.
And thank you to our listeners for bringing us mixers for our own shit.
Oh.
You are the best. We are the worst.
Oh, no, a username, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stage dive.
Stage dive. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Rex.
Oh yeah, you're so welcome.
I appreciate you both.
I appreciate you too, Beth.
I didn't bring any mixers. I did bring the liquor though.
You did, and you purchased the liquor. Good job on both counts.
I have this weird thing where drinking straight liquor for 3 hours straight is not conducive to me being awake.
Life.
We were at Lamplighters, and the great thing about being at Lamplighters is I could go to their bar where they have mixers and have their drinks.
Okay, so here's what we do next year. We bring a bunch of liquor, and then when people ask if we've got mixers, we just have those little plastic lemons and limes that squeeze the straight juice.
Yep.
Why do we
That
have
and a gallon jug of distilled water.
like,
No. We need those fucking juice things that they sell at Target. The Zeos or whatever the shit is, where like
the
you have
water
the
flavor?
sugar and flavor that you ruin your water with.
I'm just saying this is the third listener appreciation party where I have to leave the party to get a drink.
Well, it's tradition. 3 is a trend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say we get that liquid flavor stuff. We have like a Nalgene bottle or something. We mix some liquor in there. We spray the stuff in, and then we ask if they want it carbonated. And if they do, we just shake it really hard.
We drop an Alka-Seltzer in.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Guys.
And one of those little pills that turns into a little foam goose in the bathtub.
And Ango.
Yeah, well, you got to finish with some bitters. Otherwise, it's too sweet.
Yeah. Bartender's ketchup.
Goodbye.
So we're from New England, and there was a Rainbow Gathering adjacent festival that happened every year in, fact check me, Glover, Vermont,
Sounds correct.
for a long ass time. And I found out as someone that was into punk and hip hop and metal, but not super against the Grateful Dead and Fish and those sorts of things.
Hippie bullshit.
Hippie bullshit. Definitely not my first love, but
Our older brother is that guy.
yeah. So older brother turned us on to punk and metal, and then very quickly pivoted to all the hippie dog shit. And we were like, I fall that asshole in the battle a million times. And so we met some ladies who were a lot of fun, who were definitely of the crunchy variety in the 90s. And we found ourselves in Vermont many, many times. And I found myself as a 17-year-old young man full of heartbreak and mischief. And this crunchy lady left me in a very bad way at the end of what we'll just call the summer of 96.
You killed all those hippie chicks?
You can watch.
Documentary on Netflix, I know.
It's on Apple. It's called Shining Girls. And you're totally blowing up my story.
Damn it.
But if you want to know the story, Shining Girls on Apple.
Oh,
Plus.
I was just making a joke. What's going on?
I'm also making a joke.
Oh, great.
Let's keep going.
Didn't kill anyone. Fabulous. Beth, you can stop calling 911.
He's so bad when somebody yes ands.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
You're both doing a bit.
We're both doing a bit. We're the
only
same
one doing a bit
guy.
in this room.
You two are insanely similar.
What?
We're the same guy.
Oh,
That is not
sorry,
true.
I hadn't noticed.
We'll keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll cut all this out. No one knows but you, patrons.
Thank you, Patreon, for supporting us. So, what I assume is the summer of 1996, I broken up with this hippie chick, and a bunch of my friends were going to this festival called Bread and Puppet. And it is a very Rainbow Gathering adjacent festival where basically it is a puppet show of 20 to 50 foot puppets happening in an outside amphitheater where they have some sort of goddamn theater show that they're doing. And everyone goes there to do a shitload of drugs just before the beginning of the school year. Or that's what we were doing.
It was probably everyone.
Bread and Puppet, my understanding of it, is a radically political anarchist puppet theater that is trying to tell the stories of oppression of labor under capitalism through 50-foot tall puppets.
And
they're huge.
They're fucking
they make
enormous.
them for parades and do like stories.
Still walking.
Giant, like you need 8 people to just be the basics of this puppet.
Well,
If they're still around, if you give a shit, boy howdy, you should check out these giant puppets.
And for my country ass, I somehow stumbled into this in 1996. I met some people, they knew what Rainbow Gathering was, and everyone decided, hey, we're going to go up to Bread and Puppet. And we had a friend who had a hippie ass dad who was like, oh, 100%, tell your mom you're coming with me and I'll take care of you and no worries. And so I told my mom, and she called the guy. And he said, absolutely, no problem. And we did not go with that man. We drove up with so Handstuff did not go. He was a bit younger at the time. And I went with our older brother and
half of Guar.
half of Guar. Yeah. And so I would say so you guys do go ahead and do whatever you're going to do. I have children, and I will probably let them listen to this podcast. And my only request is that the following story, if it's made for Patreon only, I would appreciate it. But also, I need to talk to my kids about drugs. So So I will say the following things, knowing that I need to talk to my children about my criminal activity. And if you could not inform the people that pay me money to live, here's what happened. 1996, procured a bunch of cartons of cigarettes. However, one must do this thing. And drove in a 1983 Dodge Aries K car.
Okay, same guy. I get it.
Yeah. 1983 Dodge Aries K car to Glover, Vermont. And then found a parking spot in gigantic Cowfield and hung out with a bunch of fucking hippies and did a absolutely enormous amount of drugs of every variety imaginable. And having all of
Mixed drug situation, or did you know all the different ones?
so first and foremost, well, fuck it. So this dude was doing a lot of weed and hash and acid and mushrooms at the time, and that wasn't really the problem. We had a great time all the way up. We had all these cartons of cigarettes, and the whole point was so that once we got up there, we could sell. So this is not a Burning Man adjacent festival of any kind. And so we're selling cartons of cigarettes and just, packs of cigarettes and whatever to make money so that we can buy our festival paraphernalia. And so we're having an absolutely great time. It's 3 or 4 days. And so the first day is pretty loose. I am a 120-pound, 17-year-old person. So couple beers, couple joints, hit an acid, having a great time, walking through the absolutely rolling hills of VW buses. And the first couple days, it's not a whole lot going on. It's just, partying and having a good time with your friends. Our older brother was sleeping on the hood of his car. We definitely had tents. I did not sleep in a tent for this entire festival.
Did you actually set one up or no?
Yeah, we absolutely set up a tent. We had one. We did not sleep in it. And so the fun of it is it's all ramping up to the actual puppet show. And there is an actual midway. So there are vendors set up, creating a lane, and the things that are being sold are illicit drugs. And just that and nothing else. Like,
wow.
There might have been some fried dough, but it probably had mushrooms on it. And so
Still food.
it's still food.
Yep.
And to my children, I apologize. So what happened was I had smoked marshmallows for a couple days, smoked marshmallows a couple of times, take marshmallows, and then ate some marshmallows, and took a handful of marshmallows that were handed me by a very kind stranger. But I didn't know what any of the things I was given were. That was the other thing. I was a 120-pound kid doing a whole lot of marshmallows that I had no business.
Random.
Marshmallows. Bunch of random marshmallows. And, had a lot of heartbreak in the heart. I'd just broken up with this girl. Had a really bad time. My buddy's like, hey, let's go to Vermont. I'm like, fuck yeah. And I didn't feel like I was making great choices. By the way.
Oh, sure.
Didn't feel like I was killing it.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Agreed.
doing great anyway. And was like, wasn't doing great. Like I said, the context is I had broken up with this girl, wasn't had a great move from one state to another for a girl. It didn't work out. And someone offered me to go to another state to go and party literally days before sophomore year in high school. And somehow mom was like, I've been living on my own for years anyway, because I had been living with dad, just moved back with mom, told her this is what I'm doing just before I start a high school back in New Hampshire. She's like, you seem to know what you're doing. Cool. And what I was doing was a shitload of irresponsible marshmallows. Unfortunately. And so that's what happened. And so we went up to Vermont and we did this. And the caveat was that I had to check in with this actual adult who was the father of a friend. And that was the caveat of me going to this event with my older brother as a 17-year-old. So if I'm 17, he's 19. So he's an adult. He's not the problem. But Mama's like, you have to check in with a person I know in order to go. No cell phones or anything. Dude's motherfucking nickname was Bones.
Bones.
This fucking pothead was in charge. So I'm best friends with his son. And so this is the problem part. So what happens was...
Oh, this is the problem.
No. Everything was cool. Everything was kittens and rainbows. And then I go blind. I went actually blind. So whatever the combo was, and I don't remember.
Of marshmallows and camping.
I lost my vision.
I think you
Entirely.
also don't remember because you don't fully know.
Yeah, so I literally...
Very profound. Let that sink in.
Hold on a second, let that marinate. Thank you, hand stuff. Give that a moment.
All right, so you took a bunch of vasoconstrictors.
So I lost my vision on several days of various marshmallows, and I couldn't see anymore. And I just kind of like accepted it. I'm like, I can't see. It is what it is. No big deal.
Did this happen while you were awake, or did you like wake up blind?
So I was awake during the entire event. I probably didn't fucking sleep the whole 3 days. My brother slept in the hood of his car. I'm pretty sure I was just killing it.
Making tons of friends.
Oh yeah.
Sitting in camp chairs I'd never even seen before.
Oh yeah, it was fucking amazing. Like I didn't go inside of our tent, but I was just fucking kicking it with all of Vermont. And so somewhere between the hands of community marshmallows, so that was shoving in my face, and all the marshmallows, and all of the marshmallows, and marshmallows.
And sleep dep.
And I could no longer see. And it was,
Fuck.
I mean, was there any water involved, or
I do not remember water.
I don't think they call water drugs.
This is not a Burning Man adjacent event. This is a Rainbow Gathering adjacent event. And I don't remember. I can tell you that in the late 90s, of all the words that I knew at the time, electrolyte was not one of them. And I'm not this is not a bit, T-Day.
Yeah, no. Gatorade's from the South. I get it.
There was no electrolytes involved at all of any kind. And so here I am, a 17-year-old, 120-pound hippie who has just lost his vision. And I now have to check in with my friend's dad, who is going to report directly to my mom.
17.
17.
You better tell her I can still see.
And so my friend, whose dad is going to check in on me, has to go, you have to pretend to be able to see. Like, my dad's really cool.
he's not that fucking cool?
My dad is really cool. He will smoke a joint with you, but he won't
You have to
cover.
pretend to be able to take it out of his hand.
My dad will
And just not-
my dad will cover for you for a lot of shit. But not for being blind. This fucking
Your mom's gonna have to know that.
yeah.
Well, and you said that he was like, so what's up with you? Like that's how he
Not processing
found out you were
visual
blind.
information, not much.
Yeah,
He was reading our volunteer questionnaire questions?
yes.
What's up with you?
So first off, what's up with you?
Yeah.
I will
Second question, you blind?
I will answer all questions when put in a verbal format. So
Just make sure he doesn't point to nothing.
So I am a 17-year-old human person under
How much did you weigh?
But you
And
couldn't
stuff.
see it on him.
and so I'm pretending to be able to see this fuck. And my buddy's helping me cheat the system of being a person with all of his faculties. And this guy didn't give a shit. He wasn't expecting blind teenagers. He's like, you guys are high as shit. You are all here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who the fuck are you? 5, 6. Cool. Later. I got shit to do. He didn't give the slightest bit of a fuck. And so we all like hung out and I accepted my new blindness and it was cool. And we moved on to the actual puppet part of Bread and Puppet. You did eventually get some bread. It was cool. And I couldn't tell you what it looked like because I was blind, but it was cool. And so we head on to the amphitheater and we sit down and I'm very accepting of my blindness. And then all of a sudden, the vision kicks back on. And I'm sitting in this amphitheater, and all of a sudden, there's the whole thing happening right in front of us. It's pretty hilarious that that's kind of the end of it. It kicked back on. I watched a show.
A show of like 20-foot tall puppets.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking lame.
Oh, shit.
I got my sight back for this.
Yeah, it was like, and no boobies. Zero.
Well, you're 17.
Yeah, exactly.